Hey people, how's it going? Welcome to another video, welcome to another episode of Albums Ranked. Today we are doing the most iconic black metal band of all time from second wave true Norwegian black metal. We're doing Mayhem. It's October 31st, it's Halloween, why not? What better band than to finally rank other than the true cult leaders of true Norwegian black metal. Now if you don't know much about Mayhem, strap in because there's a lot of stuff to get through. They have a very, very famous story. They burnt churches, the guitar player died, the guy went to prison, the other guy went to prison for it, the singer killed himself. Honestly, it's a messy, messy history, but it's iconic. If you want more of an in-depth video about that, go hard. Let me know and I'll happily do one. But for now, we're just ranking all of Mayhem's studio albums, so we're not including any of those EPs, which is a shame because in 1987, Mayhem released Death Crush, which is absolutely iconic and just the rawest sounding black metal you will ever hear. It makes Transylvanian Hunger sound good. So yeah, honestly, go check that out. But it's not including in the ranking. They've got about 3 or 4 EPs, I think. So, but yeah, we're not including any of them. We're just going to go straight through their nearly 30-year career, but 6 studio albums. So like I said, Mayhem's music is not as famous as Mayhem's story. They have one iconic album, which we'll talk about when we talk about it, but then the rest just kind of get forgotten about in terms of like true Norwegian black metal. Do you know what I mean? So if you were like me and you hadn't really heard much past De Mysterious, then get excited because it's an interesting trip, I'll tell you that. I would recommend go listening to more Mayhem other than Freezing Moon. There is more to them. It's just there is only a small bit which is, you know, worth listening to. But like I said, we'll get there when we get there. Let me know down below what your favorite Mayhem album is. Is it De Mysterious? Is it Chimera? Is it Esoteric Warfare? Is it Ordo Ad Chaos? I don't know. So let's just get straight into it, I reckon. Coming in at number 6 is the album that I just mentioned. Coming in at number 6 is Ordo Ad Chaos. And weirdly enough, it is not for the reason that most people put this at the bottom. Most people put this one at the bottom because of its really thick, muddy production. Now, I find that a bit of a weak excuse because we're listening to black metal, you guys. Like I just said before, the Death Crush EP sounds absolutely terrible, and we're all fans of Transylvanian Hunger, so why are we going to roast this for sounding a bit too thick and muddy? I'm not sure. Maybe it's because the diehard black metal fans love treble and, you know, really just light piercing stuff. Do you know what I mean? It is the complete opposite of black metal. But anyway, this album is fun to listen to, but it also, for me, got very, very boring at the end. Other than maybe Illuminate, that was a cool song. This album, sorry, I should have said, this album came out in 2007. So this is the band's fourth album. And yeah, so it's very, I want to use the word, it's not straightforward black metal. It's just not blast beats 24/7 like most of their other stuff is. There's some interesting riffs. No riff is repeated, if you know what I mean, unlike most black metal where it's the same riff for 5 minutes straight. But yeah, it's cool, but it's just a bit different. You know, it's a bit thick sounding, and we have Attila back on this album after the he did the De Mysterious album, and you know, he sounds great on there. He sounds like he does on this album. It's pretty cool. Key to the Storms I liked was a cool song, as well as Anti as well. But yeah, other than that, this album is just an interesting Mayhem offering. So yeah, number 6, Ordo Ad Chaos. Number 5 is Mayhem's probably most experimental album, and it is Grand Declaration of War, released on June 6, 2000. I don't hate this album. This album is very, very weird. And if you want straight black metal stuff, it's not really what you're gonna get. A lot of this, look at the name, right? Grand Declaration of War. So there's a lot of, how do you describe it? There's a lot of like preaching, clear, spoken word passages thrown in this album. Like it almost seems like a preaching album if you listen to it. There are moments of black metal in it, like View from the Nile. That's got some black metal in it. I was gonna say it's quite a long album, but it's really not. I was just saying it's 13 tracks, but it's 45 minutes long, so that's not the longest album ever. But there is a lot of weird sort of like 2-minute sound effecty type songs. Do you know what I mean? Like A Blood Sword and A Colder Sun is 30 seconds, and then you got part 2 of that is 4 minutes. So there is a 10-minute song on here, Complete Silence of Agony. That's all good, you know. it's just a very weird album. This is their second album, so this comes after De Mysterious Dom Satanis, and it's just very separated from what the true cult black metal leaders did. And then they come out with this 7 years later. Given, like I just said, 7 years later, or 6 years later rather, 6 years later. So time has moved on, but still, it's just very what? Like I said though, it's fun to listen to. It's different. It's kind of unique in its way, but like, yeah, it's definitely not the blackest of black metal we've ever heard. So yeah, number 5 is Grand Declaration of War. Number 4 is their 5th album, and that is Esoteric Warfare. After listening to Auto Ad KO, coming into Esoteric Warfare, this was a breath of fresh air. This was really, really good. It was just straight black metal again. It was more straight to the point. There were blast beats, like, you know, throughout the whole thing, which is what we love. Attila was singing on this one again, so it was almost familiar. You know what I mean? It's like, cool, here we go. It's very straight to the point. It's a little bit longer. It's 50 minutes almost, and it's just a really fun sound. The production on this one sounds better than Auto. It's not so muddy. It's not so thick, and yeah, this one is actually, it's pretty fun. Watches, the opening song, I thought that was great. That really gives you a tone for what you're going to get on this album. It's just it's an aggressive song. It's a longer song. It's six and a half minutes, but it honestly is very fun. Trinity, I thought was great, which starts as the which starts with an opening of Oppenheimer's I am death, destroyer of worlds, I've become death, whatever it is. Pandemonium I thought was great, but Me Lab, or My Lab, however you want to say that little breakdown section where the bass is it just turns into this dun dun dun, like, you know the part, that real breakdowny section, that was just awesome as well. Posthuman and Ion Sontelia, however you say it, that last song was fun as well. It's a cool album, and it definitely gave me hope after Audio Ad KO to be like, oh, okay, Mayhem can still write some pretty cool music. So yeah, number 4, Esoteric Warfare. Go listen to it, it's good. Now shoot me if you think, for you diehards out there, shoot me for being different, but number 3 is the iconic. Number 3 is De Mysterious Dom Satanis, released on May 24, 1994. This album celebrates 30 years next year, and as I said at the start, this is the iconic black metal album. If you watch any list of top 5, in fact, if you even watch mine, top 5 recommended black metal albums, most essential black metal albums, coldest black metal albums, most influential black metal albums, this is always on there, and rightly so. This came out after the chaos of everything. The churches had been burned. Dead was dead. Euronymous was dead as well. By the time the album actually came out, he's on the recording, but by the time the album came out, he was already dead. He'd been dead for about 6 months or so, 6 or 7 months. No, when did he die? Did he die in August? Was it August 10? Was it August 10, I think? Yeah, so this came out in May. So yeah, good 6, 7 months later. It's fantastic. It's absolutely iconic. It's freezing cold to listen to. It's not an album for the summer. So I probably won't be listening to this album after this video for a while because we're getting into summer now. But anyway, what else is there to say about this? Freezing Moon. If you haven't heard, if you want to start listening to Mayhem, go listen to Freezing Moon. It's the obviously iconic song to start with. Funeral Fog is fantastic. My favorite off this album has to be, though, Cursed in Eternity. I think that's a great song. Life Eternal, the title track from De Mysterious Dom Satanis, it's a great song. The reason I put this at number 3, though, given though I'm giving it so much praise, is just because probably Attila's vocals on this one do sound a bit drony, and they're a bit, for a better word, I don't want to say operatic, but do you know what I mean? It gives off that weird thing. There is hardly any pure black metal vocals on this album. Apart from, like, the one I can immediately think of is when he sings the title for Funeral Fog. Funeral Fog. But that's, like, very just as well. It's, like, just black metal. But like I said before, other than that, it's timid. The production is, you know, quite weak and timid. It's it's really cool. But, yeah, to me, there are still 2 other albums that beat it. So, yeah, number 3 is De Mysterious Dom Satanis. It's so good. It's so famous as well. Number 2 is their most famous album, is their most recent album from 2019, and that is Demon, or Damon, however you want to say it. This came out the other day, like sometime this week in 2019. I bought this album without actually listening to it. I just thought, yep, cool, I know Mayhem, let's go. if I thought Esoteric Warfare was, you know, on the uphill of like giving hope back into Mayhem, this one just knocked it out of the park. This one is just fantastic. Take everything you know from The Mysterious and put it on good production, and you pretty much get Damon. The Dying False King is a fantastic song. Falsified and Hated, that's I think that's my favorite. That one is amazing. Worthless, Abominations Destroyed, absolutely fantastic. Of Worm and Ruins is a fantastic song, and Invoke the Oath is a great closer. Honestly, this album is just fantastic. It's so good, and if you haven't given it the time of day just because you haven't, honestly, I recommend it. It's so good. Really, it's up there with The Mysterious. Obviously, look at that. So yeah, Damon, number 2. So, coming in at number 1 is the third album, and it comes after Grand Declaration, and it is Chimera. This album is just pure back to brutal mayhem. This album is just an absolute mess of awesome black metal. It's ridiculous. After coming off that real experimental album that was Grand Declaration, you get this. Just by looking at the album cover, you can tell that we're getting back to bases here. Whore, the opening song. To me, that's just a fun opener. I think it's great. It's a shame that it's a shame that song's not longer, but yeah, it's a great song. Who sings on this one? Maniac does vocals on this, so that's probably why it's nice to. This is like a proper black metal sounding vocal. It sounds so good. Dark Night of the Soul. Oh, it's great. Rape Humanity with Pride. Yes, please. That's a great song. My Death is great. I really love My Death. Honestly, every song on here is fantastic. Slaughter of Dreams, which is a 7-minute song. That one's glorious as well. Honestly. Chimera, the third album from Mayhem, really takes The Mysterious and turns it up, and should really be as acknowledged as the rest of that album, at least. Yeah, honestly, Chimera is just a great work. It's from 2004. It sounds great. The production is great. Hellhammer's drums on it are ridiculous. His drumming on this whole catalog, I should say, is phenomenal. He does such an amazing job, and I would highly recommend you go check out Chimera. If you haven't heard anything else I've just talked about, that's fine. Go listen to Chimera. You won't be disappointed. It's a fantastic album, and that's why it deserves the number 1 spot. Awesome as team. Thank you for hanging out with me while we sit here and discuss the very short catalogue of true Norwegian god black metal people. Mayhem. Like I said at the start, let me know down below what your favourite Mayhem album is. Is it Chimera like myself, or is it Autoad KO? Are you one of those? Are you what kind of Mayhem fan are you? That's what I want to know. Thanks for hanging out with me, team. I'm on a black metal binge right now, not just because it's Halloween, but just because I don't listen to black metal enough, and I do really love it. Normally, I don't tell you what I'm doing next, but I will this time. We're doing Gorgoroth next, so that's going to be amazing fun. I cannot wait for that. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Hopefully it's up in the next few weeks or so, hopefully before the end of November. It shouldn't take that long. But yeah, until that happens, everybody, stay inside, stay safe, hail Satan, happy Halloween, and I will see you all in the Gorgoroth ranking. See you later.